Hey guys, this is Jeff from UnleashThePhones.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. The Z3 Compact is basically a smaller version of the regular Z3. It has almost exactly the same specs in a much more portable package. I've done a review of the regular Z3 already, so you can check out that video in case you're more interested in the larger phone. But in case you're interested in something more portable, here's what I think of the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. Starting with design, all of the high-end phones nowadays have huge screens, and because of the huge screens, they have a large size that makes it very hard to use these phones one-handed. That's why the Xperia Z3 Compact is a breath of fresh air, because it's a high-end phone but in a much more portable package. Measuring 127 by 64 by 8.6 millimeters, the Xperia Z3 Compact is very comfortable to use one-handed and can very easily fit into any pocket. Sony has also managed to keep the Z3 Compact at the same width and height as the Z1 Compact, even though this has a much larger 4.6-inch screen versus the 4.3-inch screen on the Z1 Compact. This is because Sony has massively reduced bezels all around, so it's not as huge as it was on the Z1 Compact, and the display now occupies 70% of the front. Even more remarkable is that Sony has made the Z3 Compact even slimmer and lighter than the Z1 Compact. Speaking of which, admittedly the phone looks a bit similar to its predecessor, but there are a couple details that make it stand out. For one thing, the Z3 Compact comes in much better colors. It comes in a shade of green, orange, white and black, and as you can see, we got the awesome green color version, which I think is the best looking color. You'll also notice that the metal sides of the regular Z3 is now gone and instead is replaced with a plastic-like material. It has a very cool translucent kind of effect, which Sony is calling their rounded liquid reflection frame. It's a strange name to call something, but it definitely looks very cool, and I haven't seen this on any phone so far, so it does look very different. It also really helps the phone stand out, especially if you get it in a very cool color like I have. To make it more resistant to drop damage though, Sony has embedded polycarbonate edges at each side to make it a little bit more solid in terms of build quality. Sony has also used tempered glass panels at the back and the front. This makes the phone feel very premium when you hold it. It also possibly won't be as easily scratched as the Z1 Compact used to be. Coming to the front of the phone, there's a 4.6-inch 720p resolution display that uses Sony's tri-luminous technology. Some of y'all might be a little disappointed that Sony didn't choose to use a 1080p panel instead of a 720p panel, but this screen size allows for 319 ppi of pixel density, which is still very sharp. So unless you hold the display very close to your face, you won't see any pixelization at all. And it's also worth noting that the 720p resolution panel uses much less power. This allows for better battery life on the phone. So all in all, it's really not too big of a deal. Coming to display quality, the display is a little cold in terms of color temperature, so things look a little bit bluish, but thankfully Sony allows you to change color balance on the display so you can get it looking as crisp or vivid as you want it to. There's also Sony's tri-luminous technology and X-Reality mobile engine, which both allow colors to really pop, but they only work in the gallery and the video player apps. It's also worth noting that this screen can get really bright, which means it's very easily usable outdoors in sunlight, and Sony even has a glove mode so you can use this phone with gloves on. Apart from that, you'll notice that the Xperia Z3 has stereo speakers both above and below the display. The top loudspeakers also happens to be the earpiece. There's also a 2 megapixel camera at the side, and there's also an ambient light sensor and proximity sensor on the other side. Below the display, you'll notice that there are no capacitive touch keys because the Xperia Z3 uses on-screen buttons instead. Moving on to the rest of the phone, on the right side you'll find a signature Sony rounded power button, which is also the screen lock button. Apart from that, there's also the volume rocker keys and the 2-stage dedicated camera key. The camera key is very appreciated because you can long press it from anywhere to open up the camera, and with a camera phone, that's something that you really want. Moving on to the left side, you'll find the magnetic charging port which Sony uses in case you want to buy their magnetic charger. You'll also find 2 protective flaps. One flap has the micro SD card slot underneath it, and it also has the micro USB charging port. The other flap has the SIM card slot, and this time Sony uses a nano SIM card instead of a micro SIM card. Both the flaps allow the phone to keep its waterproof nature, so you want to make sure to close up these flaps in case you're going to take the Xperia Z3 Compact on any underwater adventures. Yes, indeed, the Xperia Z3 Compact is waterproof at an IP68 certification. This means that the phone can be immersed in fresh water up to 5 feet of depth for as long as 30 minutes. Keep in mind that Sony does mention fresh water and not salt water and not chlorinated water, so it might not be a great idea to take this into a swimming pool or into the beach with you. That being said, I did take the Xperia Z3 Compact to the beach, and I got some fantastic camera samples and some fantastic videos as well. I actually did a whole blog post about it, so you can check out the camera samples from the Xperia Z3 Compact at the beach right in the description below. Coming to the top, there's the usual 3.5mm audio jack and a tiny pinhole for the noise cancellation microphone. And coming to the bottom, you'll find just the main microphone pinhole, and you'll also find an inlet for a lanyard cable. If you tend to drop your phone a lot, you'll be very happy that this is in here. Coming to the back, you'll just see the lone camera lens, a single LED flash, and the Sony branding in the center. There's also the Xperia branding at the bottom and a tiny little NFC logo. All in all, the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact has a really nice design. I kind of feel like this looks better than the actual Z3, but that might be because of the very cool green color. And as you can tell, I do like green. Alright, coming to hardware, Sony has made no compromise with the Z3 Compact when it comes to hardware. The Xperia Z3 Compact boasts a 2.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 801 processor. There's also an Adreno 330 GPU. The only change versus the regular Z3 is that the Compact has 2 GB of RAM, while the regular Z3 has 3 GB of RAM. Because of the 720p resolution screen, the processor isn't pushing as many pixels as the 1080p screen. Because of this, performance on the Z3 Compact is actually better than the regular Z3. Everything is buttery smooth and very fast all around with no lag at all, and the phone can very easily handle processor intensive games with no problems at all. In case you're a fan of benchmark results, I have a whole bunch of benchmark results that you can check out over at UnleashThePhones.com. Apart from that, the Xperia Z3 comes with 16 GB of internal memory, which isn't too much nowadays. Out of the 16 GB of internal memory, you only get to use about 12 GB. But thankfully, there's also a micro SD card slot as well. In terms of connectivity, there's 4G, LTE, 3G. There's also Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, GPS. There's NFC, and there's even an FM radio. Just like the regular Z3 though, there's no infrared on this phone. Alright, coming to software, the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact runs Android 4.4.4 KitKat with Sony's own UI on top of it. Sony's UI has always been very clean and minimalistic, so I really don't have many complaints about it. It's very stylish and it's very easy to get around. As with any manufacturer skin, it changes the stock UI, it also changes the look of the default apps that are built in. But it is very similar to most Android UIs. There's a home screen where you can add or remove widgets right over there. There's also a list of all of the apps that you have installed listed in a nice little menu. And in case you get bored of the UI, there's also themes that you can install to change up the look of everything. The UI is actually exactly the same as the regular Z3, which I've already detailed out in my Z3 review, so I'm not going to go over the UI again. But if you really do want to check out the UI, you can check out my Z3 review for that. It's also worth noting that just like the regular Xperia Z3, the Z3 Compact can also connect to a PlayStation 4. For example, you can start playing a game on your PlayStation 4, and then if you want, you can pause the game and continue playing it on your Xperia Z3 Compact, though you will have to connect the Z3 Compact with a PlayStation 4 controller. Moving on, in terms of multimedia, Sony has done some cool things with the Xperia Z3 series. For example, the Gallery app is replaced with their own album app, just like they've done before on Xperia phones. The Gallery app is very cool, and you can actually increase or decrease the thumbnail sizes depending on how many photos you want to see at one time. It's very cool and does list all of your photos in a very nice little way. There's also more options. For example, you can create folders or favorites. Apart from that, Sony also has a nice little movies app. It automatically brings in information about any movies that you might have on your phone. It also gives you a nice little highlight video at the top about any movies that you have on board. All in all, it does a pretty good job, and videos look great on the Xperia Z3 Compact, though of course the screen isn't as huge as other smartphones nowadays. Apart from that, Sony has also replaced the music player with their own Walkman app. The Walkman app allows you to sort your music according to artists or albums or songs. The UI of the music player is really nice, and it has all the features that you'd expect from a music player app. There's also some very cool features like Clear Audio Plus, which is supposed to give music more clarity. There's also Sony's xCloud sound enhancer. But in terms of music, Sony has also chosen to differentiate themselves from the crowd by providing high resolution quality upscaling on the Xperia Z3. This means that the Z3 can upscale MP3 files that might not be in great quality, and there's a definite audible difference in low quality tracks for sure. This is all done with Sony's digital sound enhancement engine, which is present on a mobile phone for the first time ever. So as you can tell, audio wire headphones is pretty good on the Xperia Z3. It's also worth mentioning that the front facing speakers of the Xperia Z3 Compact are not that great in terms of audio quality. Sure, it's way better than the Z2 and the Z1 before it, but it's far away from the quality of HTC's boom sound speakers. So if you see the two front facing speakers and expect that kind of quality, you should know that it's good but not super great. The loudspeakers lack depth, and it might be because of the water sealing of the phone. Alright, coming to the camera, the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact boasts the same 20.7 megapixel camera as the regular Z3. There's a 1x2.3 inch exmor RS sensor. There's also new 25mm G lens optics and f2.0 aperture. The camera can also go all the way up to 12,800 ISO sensitivity. This sensor is actually the largest on an Android phone right now. The only thing larger than this is the sensor of the Lumia 1020, which is a Windows phone and is much larger. And as you probably already know, the larger the camera sensor, the better the quality. Sony's camera UI is pretty easy enough to understand and has plenty of modes. Personally, I took a lot of photos in the Superior Auto mode. The Superior Auto mode automatically chooses the best settings for the picture that you're about to take. In most cases, it does a pretty good job, though once in a while you might want to change over to manual mode. I should also point out that the Superior Auto mode takes pictures at 8 megapixels instead of 20 megapixels. This is because the camera uses the entire 20 megapixel sensor to take a picture, but scales the images down to 8 megapixels, just kind of like how Nokia's PureVision movie technology works. This allows users to end up with a very high resolution, low artifacting, 8 megapixel, easy to share sized image. There's also a whole bunch of camera modes available, which I have talked about in my Z3 review video. So in case you want a better idea of all the different modes that are available, you can check out my Z3 review video, or just check out my Z3 Compact review post over at UnleashThePhones.com. In terms of speed, the Z3 Compact camera is pretty fast. You can focus and take a picture in just about a second before it's ready to take another picture. Coming to camera quality, the quality on the Xperia Z3 is pretty good, with plenty of detail and lively colors. The camera can sometimes get colder looking photos, but it's definitely better, if not on par with all the other flagship phones. In daytime, pictures are really good, while in indoor images, the camera still does a good job with pleasant, balanced colors. Noise is kept to a minimum, and the single LED flash does help with low light photo shots, but the LED flash does tend to give images a slightly blue tint. Overall, image quality is pretty damn good. That being said, the 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera isn't that great for selfies. I wish Sony used a more wide-angle front-facing camera. In terms of video, the Z3 Compact can also record 4K resolution video, though after about 2 or 3 minutes of recording 4K resolution video, the phone does tend to heat up a lot, and when the phone heats up a lot, it'll automatically shut down the camera app. So you might want to keep your 4K resolution videos to less than 1 minute on this phone. Quality is pretty good, with very natural color reproduction, great detail, and quick exposure adjustments while you're panning around the scene. As always guys, I have a whole bunch of camera samples and video samples that you can check out over on UnleashThePhones.com. Moving on to call quality. Call quality in the Xperia Z3 was actually really good. Voices came in through the earpiece very loud and clear, and likewise, because of the onboard noise cancellation, people could hear my voice very loud and clear as well. Coming to battery life, the Xperia Z3 Compact uses a 2600 mAh battery. That's pretty huge for a phone of this size. That battery is officially rated at 14 hours of talk time on 3G, 10 hours of video playback, and 110 hours of continuous music playback. To be honest, I was very impressed with the battery life on the Xperia Z3 Compact. The regular Xperia Z3 was easily able to manage 2 days worth of battery life on light usage. Similarly, battery life on the Xperia Z3 Compact was also pretty good. On light usage, you might actually be able to get 2 days worth of battery life. Regardless, even on heavy usage, I was still able to get back home at the end of the day with some battery percentage left on the phone, which is saying a lot considering most other high-end phones nowadays. That being said, it does take up to 3 hours to fully charge the Xperia Z3 Compact. Alright, to conclude, I basically said that the Xperia Z3 was the best phone that you can buy right now. Well, the Xperia Z3 Compact is just like the regular Xperia Z3, but in a more portable package. In case you find the regular Z3 too large to use and you don't like huge phones, that's where the Z3 Compact comes in. Personally, I'm happy that Sony has given users a choice of a large powerful phone or a small powerful phone. In terms of competition, there's really not much out there that competes with the Z3 Compact. There's the HTC One Mini 2, which is also a small phone but doesn't have as great specs as the Z3 Compact. In fact, the only real competition is the Xperia Z1 Compact. It's also worth mentioning that the Xperia Z3 Compact's pricing here in India is a little bit steep, which makes it more expensive than the Xperia Z2, the HTC One M8, and the HTC One M8i, which are all high-end phones that are much larger but have the same kind of specs. All in all, if you're looking for a high-end waterproof phone that's easy enough to use with one hand and has a great camera, the Xperia Z3 Compact is basically your only choice. So that's what I think about the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, guys. As always, if you have any questions about it, do let me know right in the comment section below, or check out the written review over at UnleashThePhones.com. And as always, if you like this video, maybe hit the like button, maybe subscribe, because that would be appreciated. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys.